What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this I want to break down some very important levels on SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. Let me just mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, the top proxy advisor of ISS is basically recommending against Elon Musk's $56 billion Tesla pay package. That is actually very important. That's the Institutional Shareholder Services, who is now starting to say that. Not the best of news, at least for Elon Musk himself. We'll see what the shareholders end up doing during the meeting that's scheduled on June 13th. Anyways, now let's talk about something very big that's going on. The market is wild, guys. Okay, we had a very, very crazy day. SPY basically got a little pump all the way up to about the just under 525 or very close to the 525 area. Then we dumped all the way down to 518. But the reason why we excuse me, the reason why we did this is because we saw this as a liquidity grab, and these institutions started buying the dip like crazy, and SPY is getting bought back up. I've calculated that as long as SPY closes above 521, we're likely going to see a bounce. You want to close above 521, then yes, there could be a bounce coming. If we don't end up closing above 521, if we end up losing it next week, we could turn back to bearish. So far, it looks to me like it's trying to rebound. Buyers are defending again, and the reason why they caused this dip is just to get buy things back up. I wasn't sure about that because when I was looking at this in real time, I was seeing a dip coming to like 518 or so. So I was like a little concerned because 521 is the important level. But seeing how we got bought back up, SPY's got bought back up over 6 points since we hit 518. We're close to 524 now. You guys could see that the buyers are returning and they're getting ready for potentially a nice little bounce. So that is very important, at least for the way that we are ending things. This does open the doors for a little bounce, and that's going to be very important. But let's see, just to be safe, if SPY closes above 521 and if we hold that for next week. Now, for Tesla, we have a very interesting structure. We had a head and shoulders like pattern that was developing. I became a little concerned seeing that Tesla was going to likely dip all the way down to about 173. But I told you, don't turn too bearish. Wait and see if we lose 173. If Tesla loses 173, that's going to be critical support. We're going to be dipping down to fill this gap. If we hold 173, we could rebound towards 176, which is what we're doing right now, and then 178 and 180. Overall, I'm still in the middle with Tesla because there's no clear direction right now. Right, we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's all that Tesla is doing. So we have to wait and see which way we end up breaking. If we break 180, if 180 breaks, yes, Tesla could run more. If we lose 173, we could turn back to bearish. Overall, the trend in Tesla does look like it favors bulls a bit more. So I do favor upside a little bit more, in my personal opinion. So I want to see, though, if we could hold 173 as long as we don't get any major bad news. There is potential for this thing to try to rebound, and we'll see if that ends up being the case. Okay, so we're still holding key support. Tesla's not lost it. That's going to be our critical level. The market's pushing Nvidia. If you look at Nvidia, we got this dip. We did come down to fill this gap essentially. We came very close to doing so. I think we did do it. Now we're trying to rebound, but watch 1092 as resistance. That's where our 20 EMA happens to be. And we're trying to break above that. If we close above that 1092, yes, Nvidia could start pumping more next week. If we lose that, we could be dipping, but overall, I'm seeing some potential in it. For Bitcoin, we're showing some life. This could try to push up towards our 20 EMA at 68,000. So that has potential, in my personal opinion. We'll see how things go with that. For Aapl, we're trying to rebound a bit. We're going to be looking at 192. Could be pushing up to 192 again. I'm seeing some life as well. For some tickers, they're not looking as strong, such as like AMD did come down a little bit on the 4-hour time frame. We're trying to reclaim our 50 EMA. So we'll see if we can try to get back to about 168 next week. There is some potential. For just a couple more, we have Amazon. Amazon's been dipping quite a bit. We're going to be looking at this support over here around 174. If we do rebound off of this, we're going to be looking for basically this 176 area. I could see Amazon attempt to rebound off 175. Unless we lose 174, we could turn back to bearish. So I'm seeing some potential for a bounce. And the same thing with Meta. But the issue with Meta is, although we had this head and shoulders, we did dip all the way down to the 450s. I did call that out in my earlier video. We did come very close to filling this gap. Now we're already getting a big green bar. So it's going to likely try to fill this imbalance, go up to 465. I see potential for a bounce in that. So one thing that's also worth noting is the VIX. The VIX was trying to rebound, got a rejection. We have this gap to fill right here. We have another gap to fill. I think the VIX is going to start sinking, and this does fuel and favor the possibility that the market's going to bounce. SPY's back at 524 is trying to push back in the green. They dumped it just to buy things up. I wasn't sure in real time if that's what was going on. It was very tricky to read because I saw a dump coming and I wasn't sure if we would hold 521. That's the reason why I said that in my previous video. 521 was a key level, and seeing us below that was not a good sign. But because we reclaimed it, SPY is building strength in the markets, attempting to bounce. So I think that there is potential for a bounce next week as long as we hold above 521 for the early days next week as well. It's not just today, but also later on. And there is potential for a bounce. This could also help Tesla rebound a bit, but always remember that 173 area. We got to hold that on Tesla consistently, even going into next week for this bounce to continue. If we lose it, Tesla could dip lower. So I'll be watching that very, very closely. Okay, so hopefully this video was insightful. I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours. But so far, the market is building some strength, and it looks like we got a nice liquidity grab for another push. Let's see if we hold the levels, though. I'm not 100% convicted on this. I just want to say let's watch and see if the levels hold, and we'll see how things go. All right, thank you for listening, and peace out.